gentlemen, we're going to be sending you back up to the front because we are already all set up and ready to go for Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge by Tinnue. Should be a lot of fun. Everyone continue to enjoy Summer Games Done Quick 2020.
Good luck to
Yep. Okay, we're ready to go? Alright, so, hi everybody, I'm Tin, this is Belmont's Revenge, or how some call it, the other CV2, or how some also call it, the better CV2. Let's see, with me today is Crunan, he will be doing commentary for me today. So yeah, if you want to introduce yourself real quick, Crunan.
Sure, my name's I've started running Belmont's Revenge last year off and on, and really love this game. Lots of interesting things, lots of interesting tech, only a little bit of RNG, heavy on the execution, and surprisingly enough to no glitches. Great run.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into it. If you could do a short countdown from 5 Crunan, I'm gonna try and time it. Ready. Go.
All right, so we're off already. We are pushing on through Christopher Belmont. That's this particular Belmont coming here. He is star of this show, and just to go into a little bit of lore, his son Soleil Belmont was having a coming-of-age feast, but the midnight before he had some really bad wall meat, and Dracula was, able to possess his body and basically reform himself, bringing up 4 different castles, as well as 2 additional stages that'll be coming up first. So right away here, we can see that Tin is going on through, and we're coming across one of the first really interesting pieces of Belmont's Revenge, which are these rope jumps. And you'll see that for the Game Boy titles, this is kind of one of the new things, where there's no stairs whatsoever, but there's a lot of these really nice pieces of rope tech. Let's go a little bit further going here. He's going to be going down through this little screen, going from rope to rope and grabbing the orb, which is going to give Christopher Belmont his signature flame whip. We're doing more little rope puzzles here. We're going to see that Christopher is able to kind of walk on through, and we're going to be encountering our first of 4 rooms with jellyfish. And if you've ever ran Belmont's Revenge before, this is one of the only parts of RNG in the game. You have basically 3 different patterns that you can get with those jellyfish, high, medium, and low. And a lot of the time, you're really hoping to get either the medium or high pattern so that you can kind of walk on through. Now, Tin's using the Flame Whip to do some additional damage to this snek pillar before she is going to be able to walk on.
I like ropes, man.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about ropes is it's just because the limitations of the Game Boy, it's just a nice way to keep these rooms like very linear and small. So that's one of these knife guys. In like PB attempts, you'd be taking a little damage, but Tim's gonna be taking a lot of damage here. Christopher's gonna be getting his head in gear, taking 4 damage, going through each of these gears, skipping this entire room. These snake pillars are also one other small little bit of RNG. They can either go high or low, but in handling it this beautifully, able to just handle that pattern and move on through. Now we're getting really close to the boss So we get to hear some awesome music. I think Belmont's Revenge has some of the best soundtracks of any Castlevania game. And this is one of those dreaded places where there's a sub-pixel jump that you could go for, but it's definitely not a marathon safe strat, so we're gonna just wait for that platform to bring us higher, and we'll be getting that first boss here. Been doing a good job for that first axe, getting the axe to fall right when the boss spawns, and that's a nice fight.
Yeah, I could have been a bit quicker, but I wasn't sure about the audio cue. Or
for Belmont's Revenge, for each of the end of stages, there's a little bit of a countdown for the timer, as well as your health. It'll go down and then back up, and it'll also count your number of hearts, and those will come down as well. So Tin's just got rid of all of her axes, so save those frames.
Yep.
Next is Crystal Castle, which is definitely one of my favorite stages. It has a beautiful soundtrack, really interesting dynamics with the water, which has nothing to do with crystal. But we do have these crystal blocks, so I guess there's some crystal to it. Going up these ropes, going to be hitting the Armor Knight as well as the Bat. And what's going to happen is that Armor Knight's going to be going off screen, but it actually has taken those 2 damage. So when Tim comes back from the right side of the screen, able to use that Flame Whip to finish him off.
Also, I don't think there's any castle in this game that has bad music. It's just so good.
It's just six stages of the best Castlevania soundtrack. All right, we're going into another fun area with I think the only instance of rising fishmen in the entire game. They did a really good job. They took one sprite and they used it for one portion of the game, and one of the one RNG parts. So now we're getting to one of another very interesting dynamic of this game, which is kind of how the boosting works. So normally in a Castlevania game or in a lot of games, you'll see that if you get boosted or get hit, you're going to get knocked back, a static amount. But in this game, if you actually boost on an enemy, and depending on how far away you are from when you started, you'll actually end up closer to the enemy, losing very few frames. So you might even say that some of these boosts could be frame perfect, in which you'll get hit and then just keep on going. Nice descent there. This spikes in. There's a way to do this little spikes a little bit quicker, but it's dangerous to get hit multiple times. But there's a lot of really fun descents in this game. Raging against the current, whipping on through, and we're gonna get our second jellyfish screen. Oh, so that was a really good instance of Tin jumped into that jellyfish and didn't really move at all. She kind of stayed in the same spot and was able to continue whipping right away. Okay. Getting to probably the easiest boss in the game. I'd call him the Sorcerer, and he's going to shoot down lightning on Christopher, but he doesn't do a very good job of it. There's a reason why it was like, there's the way that the map is set up, kind of like a Mega Man game, where you go from kind of left to right. Yeah, Tin's just going to stick around here in the corner on the right side, trying to get 5 whips in, which I think she got in for one of the cycles. No matter what, you're always going to have a 3-cycle boss here, but you can't hit 5 times for the first 2 cycles to save, I think, about a half a second. That's another really good fight. But you can actually go to any of these stages at the beginning, whichever order you want to. Crystal Castle is probably the easiest, which is why it's the first selected. And then Konami decided that the next 3 stages would be a lot more difficult. So you kind of go through each of those stages and kind of spend time, go to stage select, keep on making what's going to be maybe a 30 or a couple hour game into maybe a little bit. Now Tin's entered Drac Castle, and because she took the axe in the earlier stages in Wichtiger Castle, keeping the axe and getting the axe and keeping the axe is the most important thing. She was able to get rid of those mudmen and keep on moving really quickly. So there is actually another sub-weapon in this game, but we don't really like to talk about it too much. So Holy Water, if anyone's familiar with Castlevania runs, Holy Water is probably the best sub-item prior to 1990. But here, the Holy Water isn't that great. It does have a ranged attack, which is useful in places. It actually does have some properties, but it only does half the amount of damage as a whip strike. So what we end up doing is, we're just using the axe and whip most of the time. So we're going to be able to glimpse what these things coming out of the holes are. They are actually frogs. Sometimes you don't see them at all, but we just wanted to know. If those get out, they can really wreak havoc, and they're very difficult to defeat. They basically have very different range movements. So this is the first skip in the game, which was actually coded in. Not a glitch. That blew your mind, but no, there's very few glitches per se. So for this room is actually kind of interesting for a casual playthrough. You can see those little bulbs on the top, and if you happen to break one of these candles, then the lights would go out, and those little bulbs would actually become little luminescent creatures and move around. But because this is a speed run, we can't really show that off. So we're just going to have to awe that we're able to keep on pushing these couple of rooms.
I might have to switch, skip something really funny. I really wanted to show it, but I guess health-wise it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe the one in Drac 2.
Yeah, so Drac Castle is one of those levels where you really want to have full health in order to go through the entire thing. So normally you would be able to take a boost off of those spikes, but because Tin's down 1 health, it's better to just do the 6 whip strikes and keep on going through. We get to see our I think our 3rd jumping knife guy. And as you can see, a lot of the enemies are reused throughout the first 4 castles, but we're going to see a lot of new in the Drac Castles. Ooh, nice. So we got to see our level 3 boss, which I kind of call him Slagra version Alpha. So he's going to lose his armor, and that sword can do a lot of damage, but there is a quick kill here, where if you hide in that little corner, Slagra's body doesn't do that much damage to you, so you're able to boost off it, continue doing the axe, throw axes, and we're moving on to our last castle, or the last tutorial level, maybe. I don't know. They don't feel like tutorial levels to me.
Best music in the whole game, by the way. Coming up.
Ask 5 different people, or 5 different Belmont Revenge runners what their favorite track is. Get 5 different answers.
Mm.
But this one has some dynamic backgrounds, which you don't really see in the other castles. As Christopher is moving across and killing frogs, by the way, those flowers are blooming, and just like a wonderful sight to see. Getting to a really fun little piece of tech. there's a lot of times where I would jump into that spike and just
I did that too, trust me.
and that's a nice little transition. So one of the really important things about running this game is you learn very quickly. Knowing what room comes next is going to affect what you're going to do once you enter the room. So what we saw there on the transition, this was Tin was holding right to save a couple of frames rather than jumping them just down. So this is probably one other bit of RNG, which is a little bit difficult to handle, for those two bats. There's like a specific pixel that you can jump from to kill both of the bats with one axe, but most of the time, the one on the top tends to survive. So Tin handling that very well. Get to see our first like real ascent. And this is what I like to call the bait and switch. Kind of going off the rope, on the ropes, spawning that skeleton and taking it out with the axe. And I think we're coming up to another new enemy type, which are these giant bats. So if you had the leather whip or you hit it with the flame whip fireball, those big bats would become two, and those are very difficult to deal with. So going on with hitting them with the axe or the regular whip handles them quite well. So taking a damage boost on purpose to be able to get through those jellyfish, and then we're gonna see. So that was one of the wall meets. We're gonna be seeing a lot more wall meat probably in this castle. Just thinking. So there's these giant eyeballs that are rolling around, and when you hit them, they're going to explode and breaking the floor beneath. So you kind of see that with the first room, and in good game design fashion, now that we kind of know what's going on, able to do that there. Grabbing our more extra. So this is going to be the last room before the boss. We have these spiders, which I guess are one of the unique enemies to Plant Castle, kind of giving you platforms to stand on for that first group of spiders, and then, you know, allowing the player to climb without bounds. Belmont is running his stuff, moving on to the last boss of first 4 castles, and probably one of my favorite of the boss is designed here. So we're gonna have 2 goat heads, and their hitboxes are kind of towards the top of the screen, and with that one platform in the middle. So Tin's gonna be able to get a number of good strikes off and axes, hitting the fireballs, which will allow her to continue attacking the top, and taking that extra damage, saving those frames for the end of screen.
Also, you want to say what happens if you try to be cool after killing this boss? Because I think it happened to both of us.
Yeah, so there's those spikes that are on the bottom of those 2 goat heads. So normally you'd want to go to the edge of the screen in order to, you know, get rid of your sub-item ammo. But the truth of the matter is those spikes will deal, I think, 5 or 6 damage to you. So if you don't know about that, I'm sure there's one run you're going to lose. Spikes.
I actually lost a really good PP pace to that. I was so mad.
So Dracula's castle has a from the lake, and now we get to some really heroic, really some lovely backgrounds of these statues as well. So the birds have returned, but luckily we have axes and flame whip, and we'll be encountering another new enemy really soon. I like to call them Dementors, so I always keep a little bit of chocolate nearby. but death is not in this game, so I guess we need some similar light deaths to make appearance. And those sights actually do 3 damage, but boosting off of them only does 2. So that helps with the routing of this level. All right. And because this is Drac Castle 1, naturally the difficulty has increased. So what are we going to do? We're going to put spikes everywhere.
Who doesn't love spikes?
A lot more of these, what we saw from Drac Castle, we're really taking a lot of the things that you learned from the first 4 castles, implementing them in these later levels, and cranking up the difficulty. One other thing I'd like to mention about these spitters is that if you get hit, which fortunately Tin did, you will lose one of your whip upgrades. So now Tin has just the regular whip rather than the flame whip. But luckily, there's a number of different upgraded areas throughout the level, and I think there's one coming up right here. All right, so this is going to be another fun little descent where you could take a number of different boosts. Taking one, that's very nice. And followed by my favorite, the spike jump. So taking damage off of that snek head at the top, able to stay on the spikes without getting damaged, and able to walk on through.
So many phantom daggers today.
So this is a fun little strat for this room. So we might get 2 different patterns off of these snakes. Okay. Saving the frames. Yeah, we're getting really close to my favorite bosses of the game, the Bone Snake. And the Bone Snake is kind of like an auto-scroller, but with a set pattern, with a set pattern. But it's actually kind of difficult because we're gonna have to hit the snake off screen and also hit with the axe 2 times when it's on the left side of this for the optimal. And it might look like it, but you can only get 2 hits for each of these sequences. This is looking a little dicey, but I think making sure that she's walking forward there, making sure that the snek is always behind. Very nice. That was good ups.
Survived.
Survived. 1 HP. So once again, we're saving frames. Now we're getting really in crux of it. We're getting to the body of the whale, and getting into Dracula Castle. And I gotta say that Dracula Castle 2 might have, the most redundant soundtrack, but it definitely haunts my dreams. There's a lot of impact in this. You're taking a lot of damage for optimal strats, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of spike hits and a lot of ways to lose cycles on things. We're getting close to the really fun part where each transition is going to matter. So this first little bit, we see that these snakes give you 2 different patterns. We did get the high pattern, which is a little bit easier to deal with, but making sure that to keep that axe just in case, and pausing just enough so that if she did get the low pattern, then that. So this is another place where you could potentially go through these spikes instead of doing the 6 whip jumps. It doesn't save that much time, but it's definitely one of the more dangerous. So Tin's taking another intentional damage boost through these spikes, which do a bunch of damage. And we're going to get to one more room. Let's see if she'll get the cycle on these on platform. And those scythe guys are another small aspect of RNG. They can either throw high or they can throw low. In a lot of situations, it doesn't usually matter. But I recall getting hit by them a number of different times, expecting one pattern and getting the other.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be a fun little throwback to Cloud Castle. We did that one first because it's the most difficult castle, and now we get to see more gear boosts. But these do, as I said before, they do 4 damage, and bunch, and you know, a lot of things can go wrong in this level. Man, yeah, that is all. So just like in Plant Castle at 4th level, those bats that appear on the top of the screen are pretty difficult to deal with, especially if you miss them the first time, because they have a random pattern and they're going diagonal. But still having health, opting to go to the secret room, secret that everyone knows. Grabbing the extra meat, and we're gonna want the extra meat because we're gonna be fighting Doppelganger, Soleyu, at the end of this level, which I think for a casual playthrough, probably the most difficult boss after Dracula, and we're gonna want to have some extra health to take some intentional damage, so we can keep on whipping away at him. But yeah, we're in that last corridor before Soleil. Able to jump over that scythe. Get to see another some spiders. We get some more rope tricks, and gonna have one more interesting piece of tech coming up. So Tim's going to walk forward, walk back, and that's going to scroll the screen ever so slightly, which will force the fighters to actually go down quicker. And then we have 2 more spitters right before the boss, and one more meat, full health. Could be a shoo-in. And 7 hearts, which is also a good amount, but 12 is even better.
Just being safe. Nah.
Now, this is the most important button click in the game. You don't want to see anything on Soleyu's text box. Oh. I. All right, so going to throw an axe, do a couple of whip strikes, dodge daggers. Looks like Soleyu has some sub-weapons too, but Christopher is able to just tank his son and free his soul, the clutches of Dracula. Right, we're getting really close. So Dracula's right-hand man has gone down, and now there's only Dracula left to take care of. And Dracula's pretty interesting in this game, meaning he would take you a really long and a casual playthrough because he has fireballs that go all across the screen. But he has a set pattern, so hopefully Tim will be able to tank the damage, stay in one spot, and finish. a good start in 2 axes in. Having good whip rhythm. I think hitting 3 times. Oh, very nice. 05 cycle.
Ah, survived. Yeah, normally I use an audio cue. Oh, time, by the way. Normally I use an audio cue for the second phase, for the first 2 whips, but I didn't hear it, so don't think I got all of them. Yeah.
That was a nice.
Get to see. Yep. Yeah, get to see one of the best victory screens in Castlevania history, probably. Shoutouts to Burp, who gave that one its glorious name, Taking a Piss Off the Cliff with My Son. Yeah, but that was Belmont's Revenge. If we have time for a little bit of a shoutout. Right, yeah, special thanks to Crunan, because he helped me a lot doing this commentary. I have a baby in the next room and I wasn't sure how it went, and he also joined Parent Percent just a few weeks ago, so it means a lot. Thanks for helping me out here. Also shoutouts to my Rolling Deep family and the Godfather himself, because you guys roll tremendously deep. And yeah, one shoutout to CV4 and my Aladdin crew. Because yeah, it's pretty fun if you join speedrunning as somebody new and you don't get to see a toxic environment, but people who are willing to help each other and push each other's times, and yeah, kept me going. So thanks for being awesome. That's it from me. Good luck to the rest of the runs. We're rolling out.
All right, huge shout outs to Tinnue for that run. We do have a quick ad, so we will be right back after that.
Summer games done quick. Hey everyone, this is Matt West. I had the pleasure of coming to Minneapolis last year to share my experience with Doctors Without Borders with you guys. And I want to say, I really want to thank you for all your support you've provided with us over the years. You guys are super impressive, so fun, really nice group of people and organization. And the most incredible thing I saw was someone beat Punch-Out blindfolded. How is that even possible? I thought what we did was impressive.
All right. Welcome back once again to Summer Games Done Quick 2020 Online, powered by Twitch. Now, I have a $50 donation from No Diggity One, who says, "Thanks for showcasing a great, well-programmed, not that, game with a nice soundtrack. You're such a joy to be around, Tin, and the entire retro community is better for having you in it. Donation goes to Runner's Choice." And I can't quite be sure, but I feel like I hear Scent's voice out in the distance saying something about prizes?
Oh, Hollow Knight, I love you, but I can't because you're going to destroy Hollow Nest, and also you're the silent protagonist, and I don't think it could work between us. Yeah. Hi. No, I wasn't playing with dolls, everyone. I was just enjoying some of my favorite Metroidvania protagonists as we get through this Castlevania block this morning afternoon. All right, so you know what? We do have some amazing prizes to talk about that are available all through whatever you want to call this block, spooky SNES block, Castlevania inspired games block, however you like to feel it. So all the prizes I'm going to be talking about now are available from now until the end of the Bloodstained run, the Zamasu run, later this afternoon. So you don't have too much time left to donate for them, so make sure to get those donations in. Let's talk about some of those prizes. Now, first up, from my good friend Vats of Goop, we have an absolutely beautiful Alucard acrylic charm. It's a little too small to get on camera, but you should definitely head over to gamesdonequick.com, check out the tracker, take a look at it. It's only a $5 minimum donation, so hey, get some donations in for it. It looks absolutely great. Now, for a $10 minimum donation, we have this lovely Simba painting from The Lion King, the game, the movie, whatever you want to say the source is. It's absolutely beautiful. It's frankly in some of my favorite scenes from that movie. It's really emotional and resonant for me, but it looks beautiful. It's painted super well. I don't know how P has managed to capture, Rafiki's finger painting style on this canvas, but I feel like she really has, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a $10 minimum donation, again, from now until the end of Bloodstained, so make sure to get those donations in. Now, as a $15 donation, we have a pair of beautiful prints here featuring an N64 and a PlayStation kind of expanded out so that you can see all of the hardware inside each of them, as well as a bunch of different important characters from the franchises of Nintendo and Sony respectively that kind of got their debut, really, especially in the 3D scene on the Nintendo and the PlayStation 1 respectively. It's a $15 minimum donation for both of them. They look great. You can hang them together in your living room. I can't hang them together in my living room. My mom already has stuff hanging in here, but if I could, I totally would. $15 minimum donation from now until the end of Bloodstained. So, finally, from our friend Coweyes, we have a Super Nintendo Classic. We've been seeing all kinds of great Super Nintendo games this morning in the marathon. The Super Nintendo Classic, it's classic. It's got all of the great Super Nintendo games you want to play. It's got Link to the Past, it's got Contra 3, it's got Super Mario World, it's got Super Mario RPG, it's got Super Metroid, and of course, it's got the only official release of Star Fox 2, the unreleased sequel to the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo. $20 minimum donation. It's complete in box. It's actually still sealed in box. Super cool package here. Make sure to get some donations in for it. Now, remember, everyone, we have all kinds of great incentives going on right now, and the best part about prizes is that you don't have to specifically donate for them. So head over to GamesDoneQuick.com, look at the tracker. That's where you're going to find all the information you need on upcoming speedruns that are going to be on the marathon, on upcoming incentives that you can put your donations towards, and of course on upcoming prizes that you can donate to win, and it'll tell you when you need to donate and how much you need to donate to win those. But for now, that's going to be it for me. So let's send it back up to the front as we get ready for more of this spooky horror Castlevania, whatever you want to call it, mid-morning afternoon block.
All right, and we're back. Now, we have a lot of love that poured in for Tinnue during her run. I didn't want to break up their commentary flow, so I'm going to try and get through some of these as quickly as possible. We have a $10 donation from Anonymous who says, "Go Tinnue, enjoying watching you play." We have Bird of Mayhem sending in $10, loving the Belmont's Revenge run and how easy Tinnue makes this look. Duquesne sends in $25, says, so happy to see Belmont's Revenge. It was the first Castlevania I played, and I remember playing it for hours on road trips as a kid. It's obvious the game stuck with me since, as an adult, I named my cat Alucard. Music Box 716 sends in $50 and says, go Tin! You're so awesome. ILY, Coffee Sister. Gromfaloon donates $50 and says, go Tin go. We're all proud of you. Thank you to everyone for putting on this event, everyone watching, and everyone donating. We'll get through this together.